keep your mind open to all possibilities.
Mhm.
You know, you never know when you're listening to someone, you don't have to agree with everything they're saying, but there might be some tiny little nuggets within that area that they're speaking on that will be something that you can learn from and even grow from. Teaching people how to live here on earth in the way that God created you to be and to love one another. And so love is the highest existence that you can be in your earthly realm as a human being, to be able to gravitate the whole of society to a different point of view.
Today we're talking about wisdom. Wisdom comes from knowledge, and knowledge comes from experience. Today we're having Andrea, and Andrea is from Movement Makers. And this month we do have the theme of wisdom. And she and I are going to be collaborating today to share our knowledge, share our experience, share our wisdom, and hopefully you could get to learn something from it. And maybe you could teach us something from it. So I'm bringing on Andrea right now. There you go.
How you doing, Miss Ida?
I'm doing good, Andrea. How are you?
Well, you know what? I think I'm doing pretty good. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we're going live right now, and in regards to wisdom, I'll tell you what I'm not wise in. I don't have any knowledge base or understanding is how to go live on Instagram. And so I'm going to be very transparent, everybody. I didn't put me on the spot, but that's okay because I had to think about it. This is an area I need to get some knowledge in, and I'm going to do that right after we get off of here. I'm going to learn how to go live on Instagram.
Let's go, Andrea. So right after this, you're going live again, right?
Yes, I am. I'm going to try it.
Awesome. If you need somebody to go live with you right after this, let me know. And you can start a live and I'll pop in there just to say, yes, you did it, to cheer you on.
Beautiful. I love it. See, that's what I'm talking about. Movement makers, we're great. We just have this friendship like no other. We support each other, and I love it. So let's go, Ida.
Awesome, awesome. It's so good to talk to you. We spoke before, I think several months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and that was when you had just joined Movement Makers. So it's so good to see how much progress you've been making in it. I know you're working on a biz dev show. You're working on your YouTube show. Tell us about that show.
Yes. Well, it's still in a mode of being still right now. There's no momentum of movement right now because I'm working behind the scenes. But it's Body, Spirit, Soul Connection. You can still subscribe because when I start my shows and everything, then you'll get to see it and already be subscribed to it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm building up some momentum in the area of getting some, partnerships developed. And so I'm just very excited about it.
Yeah, and I'm excited about the fact that you get to share your wisdom on that. I know you're working behind the scenes, but you have some awesome things that you could teach people. Just your experience with being a nurse, your experience with helping people through difficult things in life, right?
Mhm.
So talking about wisdom, it comes from experience, it comes from knowledge. So you might not have any wisdom around going live, but you do have a lot of wisdom to share. So tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Okay, well, I have had the blessings to be a nurse for the last 38 years. And I'm currently serving in that area in my career as a clinical director. Over my lifespan, I have been a personal trainer. That was back in 1993, so I know a lot about the body and the movement of the body and how to try to keep the body healthy. And then on top of that, I am double certified as a health and life coach, a transitional health and life coach, and my focus is the body, the spirit, and the soul. So my experiences throughout my lifespan has collectively centered around wellness and health. And so I look forward to helping people and serve people, especially women, like I always say, to go beyond themselves to become themselves in any area of their lives. Because the way that I'm looking at putting together the knowledge that I have, the wisdom that I have to help others, it really, really is going to help to understand that you have to implement all three areas of who you are, which is body, spirit, and soul.
Okay. Huh. Who would your ideal clients be?
I just talked about this on another collab one day, and guess what? You know what I found out, Ida, is that I am my best ideal client.
Great.
I take all of my own experiences in my life, I look backwards, and I say, you know what? I can help somebody else because of the experiences I've had, the things that I've gone through, how I managed to understand and to implement the knowledge that I gained from that experience. And so I can help other people because, it's like going to obstetrician,
Mm-hmm.
and you really got problems with your heart. They are not going to be able, knowledge-wise, with their experience or being wise in that area, they're not going to be able to help you. And so in order for anyone to help anyone else, you have to be your best client. The person that has gone through the experience of whatever that is.
Yeah. I don't remember who said this, but I think I heard someone once say that you are best qualified to help the person that you once were. So it's beautiful how you put it. Like you are your ideal client, right?
Yes, that is great right there. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, as I've been studying, because I love to study, I've always had this nature about me to gain more knowledge. I've been drawn to more information. I've asked a lot of questions in my life, and I continue to do so because I'm always inquisitive and wanting to know things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so as I've been doing that on the word wisdom, I went back to the biblical times and the Bible, and one of the books of the Bible is Proverbs,
Yeah. I love
the wisdom
Proverbs.
literature, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to really be a believer. The way I think of things, you really don't have to be a believer to gain wisdom, right?
Right.
And so, but the book of Proverbs, and I've read it throughout, it's amazing how it has so much information and wisdom to give a person to live their life, and sometimes if you can just take the nuggets out of something as strong and as I don't know, the words kind of lose me, but the wisdom literature such as Proverbs to try to implement in your life, how could you ever go wrong? People are always talking about they wish they had this, they want that, and sometimes you just need to take what is already right in front of you, grab a hold on it, implement it in your life, and see what happens. I just love the book of Proverbs.
That's beautiful. And one thing about, I know some people are very biased about when they think about Bible. It's like it's this book that you have to follow, right? It's like there's some bias around it, but I think the same way we learn from lots of different books, lots of different experiences, without necessarily believing in in what the person stands for, something, but you could learn something from them. Think about the Bible as another one of those books that was written years and years and years ago that has a lot of this wisdom that you can take and apply to yourself. Because it's amazing when you look at the teachings of very famous people, and you would see a lot of their teachings are rooted back in teachings of the Bible.
Yes, definitely. And the thing that I connect with all of this is your beliefs. What are your beliefs surrounding anything when you're trying to gain knowledge? And so I ask myself, and I've learned this a few years back, being on a spiritual journey, keep your mind open to all possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
You never know when you're listening to someone, you don't have to agree with everything they're saying, but there might be some tiny little nuggets within that area that they're speaking on that will be something that you can learn from and even grow from, right? And so I just tell people, keep your mind open to all possibilities. You never know how life is going to present itself to you to try to give you something that you may need in your life.
I want to ask you, who is a person that has been very influential in your life in getting you wisdom, in passing on wisdom to you?
You know, I've talked about this too in the past, and there are two people that never met me, and I still call them my mentors. And when I started on my journey of learning more about the body, the spirit, and the soul, I accidentally stumbled, and maybe I didn't. Maybe it was life trying to show me something. It was Dr. Myles Munroe.
Oh, cool.
Dr. Myles Munroe, he's been my mentor for a very long time. And then, you know, because he is a man of God, he is a believer, but he taught me something about the way of living kingdom-wise. And what did kingdom mean, and so forth and so on, right? And then my second runner-up would be Wayne Dyer. He's a very big famous for the spirituality aspect of who I am. And he was the one that had that quote about keeping your mind open to all possibilities. And so you see, I've implemented things that they have taught me through their videotapes and their books or their sharings. And the things that I've implemented have worked very well in my life.
Okay. Tell me one thing you learned from Dr. Myles Munroe, and then we're going to go to Wayne Dyer.
Oh my goodness, you put me on the spot. It's so, you know how your mind is so cluttered with all of the good stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
Because he has a lot of kingdom keys, right?
Yeah.
But he taught me in the essence of, you know, when it comes to Christianity and being a believer, what does that truly mean in regards to kingdom on earth? Right. And so I always thought that you had to go to a different sphere of the existence of yourself, heaven and all that good stuff. But basically is this: teaching people how to live here on earth in the way that God created you to be and to love one another. And so love is the highest existence that you can be in your earthly realm as a human being, to be able to gravitate the whole of society to a different point of view in regards to growth and development and so forth and so on. So he just taught me how to be able to live here as a Christian on earth with the knowledge of what God has given us.
So when he talks of kingdom wise, what does he mean?
Again, you're going to put me on the spot.
No, sorry. The only thing,
okay.
I never really listened to him, but there are a lot of people who are inspired by him. Unfortunately, I never really got to listen to him for no reason at all. I just never really knew about him, just like I never really knew about Les Brown until I met Evan, and like, oh, Les Brown, like, oh, who's that? Like, I just never knew about him. So that's why. So I know nothing about what the kingdom wise means, and you're definitely impacted by him. So I want to know what that means, what it is to you.
Yes. So if I can break it down very small, because there's so many entities into what he was talking about and so many different keys, is that it means to be your best version of yourself while here on earth. You don't have to necessarily try to say, I will be that better person after I die. He talked about, you know, so many people, and when we talk about wisdom, have taken all of who they were to the grave with them instead of implementing that book, writing that song, being that musician, being that songstress, being the model, being the whatever it is while you were here, because you had so many distractions, if I may. While you're here. And so because you weren't able to get that thing out into the earth while you were here, the kingdom wise here, you took it, you died, and you took it to your grave. And he says that's where the gold mine is. It's right there in the grave. Everybody that has taken all of that wisdom with them. And so that's one of the keys that I took from him, is that walk here in my purpose now. Don't worry about all of the what ifs. Get out of your fear factors. Stop worrying. Be a go-getter. Be victorious in what you're doing and what you're learning. Implement it and know for sure and have that strong belief that whatever you're doing is going to be great in the world. So that's my purpose. Taking women beyond themselves to become themselves, helping them to live their legacy here on earth while they're here, instead of saying they're going to leave a legacy any other kind of way. I hope that
That's
made
beautiful.
sense.
It made a lot of sense. It's so beautiful, and I love how you tie that into what you do, because it's definitely impacted. Let's say you were also waiting, because I'm sure you have waited to be like, okay, I'm just okay where I am. I'm in my comfort zone. It's too uncomfortable to go out and be the whole body, spirit, and soul warrior that you could be. There's definitely been some pushback. But
Mm-hmm.
if that message continues to resonate with you, it's also telling you that, hey, Andrea, you need to go out and be this person that you're meant to be. Just be your full self. And if you cannot, in being your full self, you're going to help a lot of women to be their full selves as well, right? So you living out your full potential is going to allow a lot of other people to also live out their full potential through what you do. So it's very beautiful that resonated with you, and it does resonate with me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love how you explained it. Okay, second person, Wayne Dyer. Why? What did you learn from him?
Oh my goodness. Wayne was so awesome in his spiritual walk. When I started out with him and the way he started out, if you watch him over a period of time, his beliefs changed over a period of time. He became more of a spiritual being during his journey here on earth. He was a believer that nothing can happen to him that he didn't want to happen. If he didn't want to get cancer, he wasn't going to get cancer. Cancer wasn't able to come into his existence if that's not what he wanted. That's because he had strong conviction in his beliefs at the time. And then when I looked at Wayne and how he died, I was very surprised that he had a heart attack. That's one thing. And he did have leukemia. That's another thing. So that just told me, in essence, of even despite our wisdom, our strong beliefs, our spiritual walks, sometimes life is going to come at you in a way that you wouldn't expect it to, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be the disease, and you're like, I've done everything that I could. I ate right, I exercised, I kept my body up, I kept my mind straight, I did all of these great things all of my life, and I still came down with whatever.
Mm.
That's because we have to be surrendered to the fact that life is life and it will happen. And that's where I ask people, don't judge the universe or what's happening in our evolution as far as people go. The children that have the diseases that pass away at an early age, or the good person that has the great beautiful heart, that's the giver, that is struck with all kind of traumatic incidences in their lives. I still say that, you know what, we don't have any control over those things. It's not that God per se is just saying this is going to happen and making it happen to us. We just live in a fallen world, and we're trying to get back in evolution to where we're supposed to be. And I think the key of that is spirituality, is spirit, being the person, learning, number one, what spirit means, and being that spirit who you truly are. And it will wipe away a lot of suffering and pain in your life. And the one thing that Wayne Dyer did say that's going to stick with me, and I just put a little twist to it, is that every earthly problem has a spiritual solution. You just got to go looking for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wait. I do have a couple of books by Wayne Dyer, which I've not yet started reading. I added them not too long ago to my not Amazon, Audible
Mhm.
collection, because I do audiobooks. And I'm still to dig into it. So I don't really know much about his philosophy, but I was curious because I heard some things he said, and I wanted to go and dig more into him. So, but you definitely have followed him much longer than I have, maybe longer than I ever will. What what changed in his belief, to the best of your knowledge, from coming from that, who he was, to being more spiritual, and what was he saying when he got then the cancer? Like, he was saying he wasn't ever gonna get it unless he wanted it to.
Mhm.
To your knowledge, what is it that was there that could explain any of that?
Well, from what I was gathering from his videos and his teachings back then, and I can't tell you, it's maybe in the 70s, and I was a very young girl then, but I was looking at this information as an older adult. He was more or less trying to educate people on the ego and how to get beyond ego, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And once he did that and he started to evolve, most of his teachings was just on spirituality, period. And you getting into a deeper vertical level of the understanding and knowledge as far as spiritual aspects of you go.
Okay.
So back then, he was more focused on how to get past the ego to spirit as the foundation of everything he talked about.
Okay. Did you hear him say anything about the leukemia when he got it?
That's the whole thing. I didn't. And, I've searched, he has multitude, like many people have, even Myles Munroe has so much documented information. It's hard to try to even get through it or pinpoint how to get to whatever you're looking for.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things I'm still not sure about is he said he wasn't going to get it. He got it anyway. And then he passed away with it and having a heart attack on top of it. So
yeah,
and
yeah,
he passed away at an early age. I think he was 75 at that time. Yeah. So I really I can't answer that question, but I'm gonna look forward to see if I can.
I would like to know, and this is not like most people are gonna be like, got you, like you said this and this happened. For me, it's just for people who have that elevated level of spirituality and that connection. They learn new things, like information gets downloaded from higher what's it called, higher intelligence, God, whatever you call it. Information gets downloaded. So right now, information we know could be here, and there's new information that comes that's here that's going to override whatever belief you had here. So for me, it's just about knowing what new information he got that would make him to, number one, okay, did he want the cancer, or did he realize that, this information that he got here was incomplete and you could still get it even if you don't want it. It's more that I'm trying to understand it for my own, because I'm also on my own journey of spirituality, right? I really want to go in and learn these things. Like the kind of books that I read right now, it's not, I don't read fiction. I read spiritual. I read business, I read spiritual, I read biographies. Those are the books I read. So when I came across Dr. Dyer, I think I heard a YouTube video that he did. I was like, I want to know more about this guy. And so I downloaded a couple of his books on Audible, and I still haven't read it because I have a bunch of them that's like, okay, I just want to keep knowing about the lives of all these people, because like we're talking about wisdom, right? You could learn so much from the experiences of other people. And so it's that for me. I'm always on a quest of knowledge and wanting to learn, and if I could learn from anybody, hey, I'm in. And so that's what piqued me, like, okay.
Yeah. And the one thing that I wanted to say is that the one thing that I'm learning in my spiritual evolution is that something that you started to believe 10 years ago, you're evolving. You're always going to ever evolve, right?
Yeah.
And information does change.
Yeah.
Facts change, principles remain the same. I know that for sure, right? But that's why you have to learn how to manage your thoughts that are produced in your mind and manage your heart, your spiritual heart. Because if you cling, I'm learning about being resistant to life and clinging on to things so tight that if they don't happen, you get disappointed, right? If you keep yourself more open to all the experiences come past you, and I'm learning how to even react in a different way to certain things that come across my path every single day. I just had a couple of moments yesterday, today even, and I'm learning spiritually how to manage and handle those in a way that it doesn't disrupt my peace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just a moment in time. Time is moving. You can't stop it. So why are you going to cling on to that thing, harbor that insecurity, that worry, that stress inside of you, because your body does respond to all that. You best believe that.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how. The thing I'm doing is learning how to let those things go. You're not meant as a spiritual being to hold on to any of that. That's the ego that's struggling with you being human here on earth, that has this struggle back and forth and so forth and so on. So manage your mind, the thoughts that are coming up, manage your spiritual heart. That's where your emotions flow through. And then you just don't resist life and you let it go. That's some wisdom for you.
That's some great wisdom from Andrea today. So are you more of a sports person or a meditation person to help you to manage the stress?
I'm a wellness person. And so if I can do natural eating, drinking my water, exercising, the things that are really good for you, I don't promote taking any kind of medicine or drugs unless there's a physician that says this is detrimental for your health. But even beyond that, and I'll say that is because when I went through a lot of stress in my life, and I didn't know what it was stress, it was building up, and then it came out and anxiety just overflowed, right? And so they want to put you on medications to try to woosah your brain, chemicals and all this good stuff. It didn't help me. It made me even worse, as a matter of fact. But over a period of years, I learned how to do self-help techniques. I learned what anxiety actually was, what panic attacks is, so forth and so on. And now I manage, if I have a little bit of anxiety, it's normal, right? I don't let it get out of control. I don't let it build up in so much energy inside of me that it has to come out in an anxiety episode or a panic attack. Yeah. And so if you can learn the better ways in life to help yourself to maintain wellness, that's what I'm for.
That's beautiful. And so for the people that get to work with you, I'm sure they get the full flavor, the experience, everything, body, spirit, and soul. What's Absolutely. If you do have one, what's how do people get to work with you, and what's it like working with you?
Okay. So as a coach, and we'll lean into coaching, right? Yeah. People connect with me through ways of just seeing me on my different platforms, seeing the content that I'm building up and that I'm talking about. And then, of course, they're going to have my contact information to get a hold of me. But right now, I'm building up partnerships. Yes. You know what we're doing. We're doing the biz dev and all that good stuff. And so what I truly believe is going to happen, because I am actually going into arena. I think that there's waters that haven't been touched yet too much. And that's in the Christian world with pastors and leadership in the area of, we are believers and we are the ones that are suffering so much here in the world. So if you believe and you have all of the prayer and worship and praise and whoever you submit to as far as your higher power, why are you in so much suffering and pain?
Yeah, because we put everything down, right? We stuff it down. We've been trained to not get angry, not express yourself in a way that would be like a sin. And so, but you haven't been taught an outlet on how to in a healthy way, let it out, because the body isn't meant to hold all of that in.
Yes.
So they've been told, don't do this, but haven't been given the technique on how to get rid of it. So
that's a key. Yeah. That's a huge key right there. That's where the knowledge come in. Then you get the understanding and then you apply it. That's wisdom, right? Yeah. But you have to want it, and it's no quick fix. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to be patient with yourself. And like you said, you downloaded a couple of Wayne Dyer's books. Now you probably are in a mindset, I really want to get to know what's in those books. What can I learn from that? Where's the wisdom that he's going to be sending to me through his books that he's produced so many times over and years ago,
Yeah.
right? And so I just truly believe when you really want to change, you have the will and you have the power. You just have to go out and do it diligently. Be intentional in what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
absolutely.
Well, it's very necessary what you're doing. And I know I mentioned this the last time we had a collaboration, but for those who are watching now and have no idea what that is, I do have a friend who was going through, a female friend who was going through, very Christian, very, very religious, and we're going through human problems like we all do. And
Hmm.
when you're going through those human problems in relationships, you want to talk to another human, because humans are social beings. You want to talk to another human to kind of get it off your chest. And
Yeah.
this person went and spoke to a couple of friends who are also religious and spiritual, not spiritual, religious Christians. I'm not going to say spiritual because now I know it's a different thing, being
Hmm.
spiritual and being religious. So this person spoke to a couple of friends who were religious, and the only thing they passed on her was judgment. You are a
Wow.
Christian. You can't do that. If you go do that, it's a sin. It's like, I know, but this is how I feel right now. And
Hmm.
instead of anybody trying to listen to her and validating, like, yes, I know what you're feeling. It's okay. Let's see how we can walk through this in another way. Nobody wanted to listen. It's like, oh, you're crazy. If you do this, it's that. So she felt very judged and very pressured and very like she's insane until, and this is not to brag, but until she spoke to me, she said, she came back to me months later and said, Ida, you know what? You're the only person I spoke to that didn't judge me, that didn't make me feel like I was crazy.
That's good.
And because
That's
I
real good.
listened to her, she was able to get it off her chest. And then she's walked through it, but she needed somebody to kind of let her know she's not crazy, and she had to go deal with those things. And then she actually went on her sabbatical, went on retreats and did stuff. But she
Hmm.
needed that space to go and do it, and another human to let her know, you know what, it's okay to feel that way. And it's okay, you're not crazy to feel that way. It's okay, you got things to work through. Don't push it down, go deal with it. So you would think being in a religious or in a church environment would provide the safe space for you to express yourself, but it's usually very judgmental. And so they would
Hmm.
need a person like you to give that outlet for them, to be able to then feel safe enough to have those conversations that are very difficult to have.
And
So,
that's the yes, Ida. Thank you for opening this conversation up, because that's what is prompting me and pushing me to go into the area of these waters that are uncharted waters per se, right?
mhm,
Getting that conversation opened around, well, first of all, Chicagoland, because this is where I live, and I'm praying that it just filters out and throughout the United States and then to other countries and everything. Let's have this conversation. We haven't had this conversation. We're not about being religious here. We're
yeah,
about understanding exactly who we are and how we're supposed to be. We talk about walking in love, but what does that really truly
yeah,
mean? We talk about a lot of different things, but what does it truly
yeah,
mean? Once you get the meaning, then how do I even apply it to my life?
yeah,
So there's some levels of understanding and learning that goes along with becoming wise and having wisdom, right?
yeah,
And so, and then that's why I'm so excited, because the people that I've been talking to who are pastors thus far, they're like, I think you're onto
yeah.
something.
You are. You are.
Yes,
Somebody mentioned to
inspired.
me that you would think, yeah, somebody mentioned to me that when you go to church, don't think that the people who are in church are perfect. Just know that everybody walking around also has the demons they're dealing with, and they're probably coming to church to seek a solution. Just like when you go in
Right.
the hospital, it's not healthy people who are there, it's people who are coming to seek a solution to something. Yes,
Hmm.
some are already there and they have found what they came to look for, but most people are there seeking and they don't necessarily have the answers. So it's always great to inject the belief, inject the life, inject the hope, inject the positivity into the space. And so what you're doing is thumbs up to you. Thumbs up, thumbs up.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I just pray that, on this journey that I'm on right now, that I do become wiser. I get more knowledge and understanding that I can implement in my own life, that I am trying every single day. I'm working on Andrea, and there is no perfect here, right? There's
Yeah.
only one perfect that we know, and that's who created us. But we try to get to a higher level, and that's what I call my best, highest level that I can get to as a human being here on earth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank
That is great.
you.
Oh, you're welcome. So for everybody who's watched right now and wants to go out and support Andrea, please go ahead and check out her YouTube channel. You've launched the channel, but you haven't put up videos, correct? So
Correct. I
people
have
can actually go
my
surprise.
introduction. Yeah, I
Yes.
have
So
my
please tell us
introduction.
the channel.
Okay, it's body, spirit, soul connection. Body, spirit, soul connection.
Okay.
And that's where you're gonna see a lot of good information coming real soon.
Right. Awesome. Awesome. And of course, you're watching this on my wall, so you know where to meet me. And if you wanted to reach out to me, guys, what I do is accounting, taxes, bookkeeping. I help people with clarity in that. So if you wanted to get some clarity around your accounting as an entrepreneur, head on over, send me a message, and I could see how I could help you. It's not guaranteed that I could help you, but let's have a conversation and I'm gonna see how maybe we could get to work together.
And that's that wise Ida.
This has been amazing, Andrea.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today. Oh, and we're doing a live after this because I want to see how to help you get on live again, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Have a great one, everybody.